Is there some kind of a predestiny in following that inner guidance, that inner path?
Only in this sense. It was decided or known as you were making the decision to come into this body that you're a creator, and that through your exploration you would expand, and that expansion is necessary and delicious. But we would call that predetermined or predecided by you intentionality.
Me or me, my inner self, me?
You, your inner self.
Both of us, teamwork.
At that time, there was no split in you because you hadn't come into consciousness that could think independently. So you said, step one is, I will think independently. I will know what I don't want. I will know what I do want. And in my independent thought, I will discover things that I do not want. And in the discovery of what I don't want, I will simultaneously discover what I do want, because every component of the universe has wanted and absence of wanted within it. And you knew that. And you said, sometimes it is necessary for life to show me what I don't want before I can even know what I do want, because it has to be personal. So when life shows you what you don't want and then you know what you do want, you've launched that rocket of clarity, and you, and therefore we, have reached into a new place where we have never been before. And we immediately go there because we have no resistance. You are slower in coming along because you've got beliefs that keep you from immediately going there. But when your desire for feeling good becomes stronger than holding to a belief that you don't care about. The other day, we've been telling this story. We may even have told it to you directly. Esther was in Del Mar. She has a house there. She hadn't been there in months. She was sitting at her desk looking out where the ocean should have been and couldn't see the ocean. And she realized that in the months that she'd been gone, the trees had grown in and the bushes from the side and had completely obscured her view from sitting at the desk, which was why the desk was there. So her gardeners came later that day and she said, I'm blocking my own view. Could you guys trim this edge so that I can see the ocean? And they said, happily. And then they said, but there are trees down in the ravine that might be part of what you're seeing. And Esther said, well, I only own half of that ravine. Just be sure that it's on my property. And they said, we've got you covered. And off Esther went to lunch with her friend. They were gone many hours. They shopped and ate and explored. And when Esther came back, she walked onto her deck and went in and looked out the window, and the ocean was back. She was so happy to see it. Then she looked out a little way on the hillside up very close to neighboring property and saw something that made her gasp. 2 very large tree stumps cut all the way down to the ground. And Esther thought, how in the world did that happen? I thought I was so clear. And then Esther began feeling guilty right away and so sorry. And then she tried to make herself feel better, and she thought, well, that house is under construction. Maybe it's new people and they don't know those trees were there. So she worried about it for a day or two, off and on, whenever she thought about it. And then one day she looked out and she saw a man in a suit standing out on that patio. It's across the ravine. Esther's never been over to that house. Standing in a suit, looking at the tree stumps, and then he took his phone out and took a picture of them. And Esther thought, I better go confess. But she'd never been over there before, so she didn't know how to get there. It said a road down that leads up or a road up that leads down. It took her a while to get there. And when she got there, he was already gone. But on her way over, she had practiced her confession. I didn't mean to do that, and I'm so sorry, but I did do it. And I will make it up to you in whatever way you want. I'll plant new trees. I'll landscape your whole yard. Whatever makes you feel better. I am so sorry. But he wasn't there, so she didn't deliver her speech. So she just went home and continued to practice it. And then a day or two later, she went with her friend again, off to lunch again. And when they got back, she said to him, look what I did. Took him out on the patio and pointed at the trees. And her friend said, what? Esther, your gardeners didn't cut those trees down while we were at lunch. Why isn't the hillside all torn up? Where's the debris from the trees? And Esther thought, hey. And then they walked out to the edge and she looked up close to her property, and there was a very small stump with all the debris from it lying right there where they had cut it. And all that had happened is the gardeners had cut down a little tree that let Esther see things she wasn't used to seeing. And Esther thought, it's embarrassing that I believed something so dumb. It was completely illogical. It didn't make any sense at all that those two men in 3 or 4 hours, they would have had to have a helicopter and a saw and just cut it off at the bottom and carried the whole thing away. There was no possible way that that could have happened, but Esther believed that she had done that. The circumstantial evidence was such. The way it had unfolded in her experience, she believed something that was truly illogical. It shook her up. Esther said, I bet there's all kinds of really dumb things that I believe like that are in my way, that I just keep carrying forward for no good reason, because circumstances just make that the path of least resistance relative to the momentum that I've got going. And so you do, all of you have many beliefs that you are nurturing, that you continue to keep active, that prevent you from your true reception of what's truly going on. Here's a very powerful statement. If your desire is strong enough, any belief that's in its way will fall by the wayside. But most of you, because of your attention to other humans and your desire to find mutuality with them, you choose harmony with beliefs that don't serve you rather than upset them, rather than harmony with the beliefs that your inner being holds about you that serve you completely. You don't want to be a freak. You don't want to be a Pollyanna. You don't want to believe things that most people don't believe. You want to believe the circumstantial evidence, because most of you are conditional. We mean you, meaning humans, are conditional in your thinking. So you keep observing what is, and you keep bringing the vibration of what is forward, even though your very existence means you are here to create new. You're not here to regurgitate what's already here. You are here to become freer, to become wholer, to become newer, to feel better. You didn't come to regurgitate what is, and yet most of those around you are true regurgitators. And if you stand out, not as a regurgitator, sometimes they want to call you weird or freak or Pollyanna or not facing reality.
Aren't those regurgitated beliefs manifestations as well?
They are.
From something that happened when you were 5 or 6 years old?
Something happened 20 years ago, and if you didn't keep thinking about it, it would completely be out of your vibration within 3 days. But because you talk about it, you keep bringing it forward 19 years, 18 years, 17 years, 15 years. And so here it is right here, still active in your vibration, even though it has no relevance other than the relevance that you've given it, because you keep it active in your vibration. So it continues to be in the way of what you want. But your blessed inner being, even though your inner being knows that you've got things in your way, your inner being is always looking for a path of least resistance to call you around it, over it, under it. In other words, to show you that you can get to where you want to be no matter what beliefs that you hold. But isn't it nice when you are willing to acknowledge that you have beliefs that are in your way that are not valid? And what we're saying to you with this segment is, the less you try to find mutuality with the girls in the nail salon, because they're lovely. They are lovely. And there are positive aspects. Esther one day realized we've been talking about positive aspects for as long as she can remember. And somehow she was thinking that what we meant was, in every situation or in every individual, there are positive and negative aspects. So line up the positive ones, line up the negative ones, and focus on the positive ones. And all of a sudden, she understood what we really meant. We meant focus upon any aspect that causes you to feel good while you focus upon it. It's not an evaluation. It's not a determining what's positive and what's negative. It's looking for mutuality with your inner being. It's looking for what feels good when you find it, you see.
And what feels good, a positive desire, can blast out an old negative belief.
Because you see, every individual is like the universe at large. Within every particle of the universe is wanted an absence of it. So in every individual, there are aspects of them that you want to find mutuality with and aspects of them that you don't. But most people want the other to change to be mutual to you, rather than just looking for what is mutual or looking somewhere else to find it. Oh, you could be living such wonderful lives if you would realize that in every place you look, there is mutuality, and it's up to you to find it. But when the first thing you do is find something that's missing, then you harmonize with what you're mutual on that takes you away from your inner being, and then you struggle and need them to change so that you can feel better. You got that, didn't you?
Yeah, is that mutuality because part of me attracted like some negativity and part of me attracted some positivity in everything that I attract to myself?
That's a perfect statement, because you've attracted it all. Nothing is coming to you that you haven't attracted. But here's the thing. You could be in a place of true alignment. Maybe you've been meditating for a while and you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you are in alignment. And in that alignment, you attract someone to you, let's say an individual to you, who has that mutuality. In other words, that person has that potential, or maybe even that going on actively right here, right now. And even though they might have a whole lot of other things that you don't want to think about or that you don't want to be mutual with, doesn't matter. You are focused upon and active about the thing that does, until you get so nosy about everything about that person. You meet new people, law of attraction brings you together, and the first thing you do is tell me about yourself. And we're in the background saying, don't do that. Let the law of attraction mutuality be what carries you. Don't look around for other things that you might be mutual about, because you might find all kinds of things that neither one of you want to have active in your vibration that you're mutual about, because you have all kinds of things within you that you don't want to be active in your vibration right now. Helpful?
Yeah,
does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So what is life really? What is it? Life really is you seeking alignment with who you really are. You seeking alignment with who you really are. You seeking alignment with who you really are, until you discover it. You know when you're satisfied and when you're not. Then moving out and let law of attraction bring to you things that are important to you.
Well, that's what brought up that predestination. I was thinking about Jerry manifesting through his own questioning a lot of this right here.
Yes.
And was that like his inner being calling him into,
no question,
this is where he's going to, and he just had to,
no question,
allow that to happen, go through his experiences to get in line with that?
Sometimes when you really want to know something, your inner being calls you right through contrasting experiences in order to inspire you to ask for the thing that you most want. It's all so good. Everything is always working out for you. We are over time for this segment.